Hey, thank you for joining this broadcast. And thank you to all of you who are going to listen to the replay. Aren't you excited that we have all this technology out here where we can just reach to our audiences and just share amazing things with people? I wanted to stay connected with you, so I decided to do this show with you live with Dolores. I am Dolores Presley, and I am a keynote speaker, a life and business coach, and a confidence strategist. I help women elevate their confidence and their influence so that they can live their dream life. Are you living the life of your dreams? Wow, there is so much going on in this world. I decided for the first show here, yes, you are here for the first show, to be called From Despair to Triumph. From despair to triumph. Do you have a story of despair to triumph, especially with everything that has been going on in this world? I imagine that you do. Mm, Believe it or not, I have had a lot of despair. People say, Dolores, you're so successful. Yes, and I thank God for being successful, but I have had some despair in my life. Still, here I am, 65, getting ready to share a story of how when I was in kindergarten, around 5 or so, I think, and I wanted to be a ballerina so bad. I would just take a sweater and tie it around my waist with my best friend, by the way, who is still my best friend, Marisa. And we pretend to be these beautiful ballerinas. And when we got to the dance studio, it had come to our school. My mom comes out and says, Dolores, I signed you up for tap. Seriously? Seriously? Now, my mom didn't have anything to do with that. They would not allow her to sign me up for ballet because they told her I was too fat. So I think that changed the trajectory of my whole life, my entire life, because I sometimes hear my husband say, Dolores, let go of the ballerina story. Mm, mm, mm. And then I have another story that I'll share with you in a moment about not being able to give birth. Now, I don't share that story that much. So you're privileged to be here on Live with Dolores on the first show. Because when I was first married, I was diagnosed with a disease called endometriosis. Now, they have come a long way. Remember, I've been married this year, be 43 years. So that was a long time ago. But I was diagnosed with that disease. And by the way, I was diagnosed with that disease late because my doctor didn't think I had it because he said that Black women do not have endometriosis. How about that? And then I ended up having to have surgery and could not give birth. Oh my goodness, I wanted to have children more than anything. So, talking about some despair, but I went from despair to triumph. Despair of them not letting me be a ballerina. But guess what? When I was 60, I took ballet. That's right. I went and took ballet lessons with reed thin young women. They had to help me out a lot. They had to take my leg and put it up on the pole, but that's okay. I did it. So I went from despair to triumph. Same thing with the children. I ended up being an elementary school teacher, so I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students and children. And then I also married my husband, who had been married before, and he has two boys. But those boys are my boys, Kevin and Keith. They are my boys. And then Keith has two daughters. So then I've got granddaughters, and then our granddaughters have children. So I'm a great grandma. But I went from despair. Mm, Despair. So I don't understand. Sometimes people will say to me, Dolores, well, you're not, you don't have children because you've been so busy. Now, how can someone say that to you? But anyway, neither here nor there. When those toxic people, I call them, say things like that to you, then you just say hello and goodbye. Hello and goodbye. So, my first point for you is to learn to handle challenges with confidence. Learn to handle your challenges with confidence. And of course, I'm a woman of faith, so I handle my challenges with faith as well. But that is so important. Everyone experiences challenges. And if you haven't, and some moments of despair, if you have not yet, guess what? Keep living and something will happen. That's despair, but it's how you handle it. I used to sing in the choir at Union when I was a young girl. It was a song we called Trouble Don't Last Always. So, whatever you're going through right now, whatever despair, it's not going to last forever. It won't. I know it when you're in it, it feels like it. When I found out I couldn't give birth, oh my gosh, I could have been still sitting in a corner somewhere crying, but I chose to handle it with confidence and say, whatever comes my way, I can handle it. And whatever comes your way, yep, you can absolutely handle it. Now, that thing again, not being able to give birth was just really, really, really challenging for me. But let's do another point. Confidence is built on accomplishment. Confidence is built on accomplishment. So, what do I mean? You're probably out there. Some of you are like, dang, I just don't have any accomplishments. That is not true. First of all, you woke up today. Guess what? That is an accomplishment. There are people who did not. So, that's an accomplishment. It is so important. And I want you to set goals and little goals. You don't have to start off really, really big. You can start off with a small goal, small goal. And I want you to get a jar. That's right, a jar, a box, whatever you want to make this thing, because I call it the Believe in the Power of You jar. Believe in the power of you. I just put up a new picture saying believe at my house because it's so important that you believe in the power of you. Now, how this jar works, you take this jar, you get some post it notes, any kind of notes. It doesn't have to be posted, just something, and have a pen. And you write down your accomplishment. Like today is the first day of Live with DeLores. So therefore, I put that in my jar before I left home. All kinds of accomplishments. Here in my office, I have a plaque from President Barack Obama, so many courageous women to cover all these things that I've done. But I also put little things in there like this weekend, I cooked Easter dinner for my husband. That's little, but believe it or not, that is an accomplishment for me. So I want you, and you now, some of you who are watching now, just just write on a piece of paper right now something that you have achieved, some accomplishment, and then put it in your jar. Now, how does that work? So you have a lot of accomplishment. You're more powerful than you've ever been taught to believe. You are absolutely more powerful than you have ever been taught to believe. So believe it. And the jar is proof when you start putting those things in there because the little accomplishments we have, we don't often think about them. We don't think. But on those days when you feel like you're in despair, even sometimes I was traveling before the pandemic so much, I'd be like, why am I traveling like this? But when I look in my jar and someone has written me a note or someone has said some amazing things and I put that down in my jar as well. Or I think about maybe I'll get tired later and I'll look in there and pull out something and it says, you started Live with Dolores. So get that jar. Are you getting that jar out there? I want everyone to make sure you get a jar. It's so important. Little things. Anyone want to type, you can feel free to type in and talk to us here on Live with Dolores. It's going to be a great show that we're going to come every single week on Mondays and get you started and get you motivated. Now, you have to motivate yourself. I know that sounds a little challenging because people say motivational speakers, and that's what I am too, a motivational speaker. But most important, I want to inspire you because motivation, something I'm saying today, I certainly hope something I've said today and something I may say will make a difference in your life and it will inspire you. And then you motivate yourself. You motivate yourself and get yourself going. So, what little goal do you want? What little goal are you going to have that's going to make a difference in your life? Hmm. You got that jar? Got that jar? Mm-hmm. You want to be a ballerina or whatever it is that you want to do? I'll be talking in some episodes about how you can make it happen, how things can manifest in your life because you can make it happen. And so we're closing out. It's just going to be a show, really 15 minutes or so. And it won't be long, but we want you to tune in every Monday at 12 noon Eastern. Now, I'm asking you this, and you can take part here now. Have you triumphed? What have you triumphed in your life? What has happened to you that you thought it was the worst thing, but it ended up to be so much better? Even with She Elevates, which is what I founded and the executive director of the nonprofit that teaches girls to be confident leaders, entrepreneurs, and CEOs. When the pandemic came, I was like in despair. I'm like, we cannot have it anymore because we were having it in person. But then we ended up having it online and reaching girls all over the world. Literally, we had girls last year from all over the world. We had a young lady that was taking it at night because she lived in London and her time zone was totally different. So I want to hear your stories of how you have triumphed over things that really felt like despair, but in the end, it was a triumph. I so appreciate everyone for tuning in. I so appreciate. Now, you must get some positive peeps in your life. I call them positive people. Who are your positive people? Who are your positive peeps? I know I have a lot of friends that will motivate me and tell me and really inspire me and tell me what it's like, just what it's like. DeLores, don't do that. It's great, DeLores, you did this. Now, who are your positive peeps? So let's just kind of review really quickly what we talked about today. First of all, from despair to triumph, your story of despair can become your triumph story. That is so important. Learn how to handle challenges and despair with confidence. And I added a little bit to that, yeah, with God too, or however your faith is. That's important. Confidence Confidence is built on accomplishments. Think about all of the amazing things that you have done in your life and the tiny ones too, because they count as well. Mm-mm-mm. Now, I'll leave you with a Presley PowerPoint. Some of you know I come up with these alliterations. I love alliterations anyway. So, your Presley PowerPoint today is: worry does not empty tomorrow of its trouble. Mm. It empties today of its strengths. Again, thank you for tuning in to Live with DeLores. You can find me every Monday right here on all these different channels at 12 noon Eastern. If you're interested in connecting with me, I'm found on all the platforms at DeLores Presley. I would love to connect with you. I'd love to hear your story. So even if you're doing and watching the replay, I'll still check back and answer your questions. All right. Thank you again. Your PowerPoint. Worry does not empty tomorrow of its trouble, it empties today of its strength. I love you. Have a great day and a great week. Make it a great week. See you next time.